Have you ever wondered what would Earth be like without the sun? What would happen to Earth if the sun suddenly disappeared? How long could humans survive on Earth if the sun went out? What is the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning? If you are like most of the people, you might go to the nearest window, open the blinds, and let the morning sunshine warm your face. There is nothing quite like the sun's rays to brighten your face and get you started off, right? We humans tend to really enjoy the sun, whether playing on sandy beach in the middle of summer or soaking in the rays by the side of the pool. We love the warmth that sun provides. Even as seasons change and temperatures drop, a ray of sunshine on a wintry day can warm the heart. Have you ever wondered how important the sun is to us here on Earth? Exactly what would happen if the sun suddenly disappeared? Or what would we do if the sun suddenly went out? From Stone Age to this very day, humans have tried to study the sun, and here is the 1-minute history of that.
Humans have always wanted to learn about the sun, but it's dangerous to stare at it with just our eyes, so we built structures to help us study it. Aristotle had his camera obscura. Galileo used a telescope to document sunspots. Spectrometers came next, allowing us to study the spectrum of the sun's light. 100 years later, George Ellery Hale explored the magnetic nature of the sun with a spectroheliograph. Next, we launched Skylab, and it gave us our first high-resolution pictures of the sun's surface. The Yoko spacecraft took X-rays of the sun. Then SOHO and Hinode sent us even more incredible images. TRACE delivered the closest ever pictures of the sun in its magnetic fields. SDO images the sun in many wavelengths. Now, with stereo, we see the whole sun in 3D, never missing an inch. Who knows what we will see next? We will just have to keep looking up.
Hi guys, this is Prateek and you are watching Eclectic. The sun is a star and center of our solar system. Everything in our solar system revolves around the sun. It's impossible to understand fully how crucial the sun is to life on Earth and the very existence of all the planets around us. The sun's immense mass draws all the other planets in the solar system towards it. Since Earth and all the other planets are moving very fast through space, the sun's presence keeps them moving around itself. If the sun were to suddenly disappear, Earth and the other planets would retain their forward motion effectively by flying off into outer space in a straight line. No one has any idea what would happen if that occurred. What's certain though is that we Earthlings would soon be lost in space. Of course, without the sun, none of us would even exist in the first place. Scientists who have studied the origins of life on Earth point towards the Earth's perfect positioning with regard to its distance from the sun as the main factor in creating the conditions that allow life to exist on Earth. So what would happen to that life if sun suddenly went out? Because light from the sun takes 8.5 minutes to reach Earth. We wouldn't notice immediately if the sun suddenly went out. 9 minutes later though, we would find ourselves in complete darkness. If it was already dark on our side of the world, we would notice the moon suddenly disappear. Why? Because the moon does not produce light. We only see the moon because sunlight reflects off it. As the sunlight that was illuminating the moon disappears, so would the moon. The same would go for the many other celestial bodies in the sky, such as planets which we see only because of the sun's reflected light. Without the sun's warmth, Earth would quickly become a much colder place. Fortunately, Earth retains heat fairly well, so humans wouldn't freeze instantly. Life would get much more difficult immediately though. Although no one can know for exactly what would happen, scientists have estimated that the average global surface temperature would drop below 0 degree Fahrenheit within a week or so. Many people have probably withstood such temperatures during cold winter months before. So what's the big deal? The problem is that the temperature would continue to drop steadily. Within a year, the average global surface temperature could dip well below -100 degree Fahrenheit. By that time, the top layers of the oceans of the world would have frozen over. Although the frozen top layers of the oceans would insulate the deep waters below, keeping them liquid for hundreds of thousands of years, they would eventually freeze as Earth would move towards a stable average global surface temperature of about -400 degree Fahrenheit. At that point, the atmosphere would have also frozen and fallen to Earth, leaving anyone left alive exposed to the harsh cosmic radiation that travels through space. Without the sun's rays, all photosynthesis on Earth would stop, all plants would die, and eventually all animals that rely on plants for food, including humans. While some inventive humans might be able to survive on a sunless Earth for several days, months, or even years, life without the sun would eventually prove to be impossible to maintain on Earth. What do you think about this phenomenon? Comment down below your thoughts. Be sure to subscribe my channel, go through the playlist of amazing videos and check out my bookstore at Amazon.